All right, it is time. Grab a snack, do a little stretch, get ready, because we're going to be talking about my yearly favorites and fails. I have tried to gather all the things that I absolutely loved and all the things that I absolutely loathed to chat with all of you about. But if we haven't met before, my name is Kelly and I'm a professional hair and makeup artist. And here on my channel, I strive to keep beauty real. Real honest, real relatable, and real fun. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, don't forget to click subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. We're gonna dive right in. I'm looking at my list and I have a lot of things. Now, I've tried a lot of amazing things throughout this year, and I'm not very good about keeping a tally of my tippy top favorites and the things that I just absolutely hate. So one of the nice things about that is I was able to grab the things that right off the bat, I was like, yes, love these. I know these came into my life this year and I just have to talk about them. And then there were also the things that I was like, ugh, that was a big no. So I gathered those first. So I am really trying to just do the tippy top things. And in all honesty, if there is something that came into my life this year that wasn't new, I'm gonna share it. It's not about like new. It's about the things that I found this year and that I'm absolutely loving. So I am going to try to do this a little bit by category. So in case you're interested in one thing over another, you can kind of skip around so you can check the chapters down below, because I'm sure this is gonna be a lengthy one. An intermission might be needed. Maybe I should start doing that, like putting in a little like 2-minute like water break, stretch break. Probably not, they're already long enough videos. But anyway, let's dive right in. Okay, so let's start out with skincare. Now, if you are not new to my channel, you know that I have been on a journey to use up a lot of the skincare that I have. And it was one of my goals for 2023 to not purchase any new skincare other than the things that I've run out of and need to replenish. And that means like my tippy top faves, not just like, oh, I need an exfoliant and I have several, I'm just gonna like buy another one. No, it's about like using up what I have, and if I don't have another one, then I can purchase. So I don't really have a lot of skincare because I stuck to that pretty much. At the very end of the year with some sales, I sort of slipped in a couple things. One that I'd really wanted to try and one that I knew I would probably end up needing, and just took advantage of the sale. So by the way, if you do want to see my makeup goals for next year, or my beauty goals in general, I did a live here on my channel during Livemas, so I will have that link down below. Also, I will have my 2022 favorites if you just want to know more of my favorite things, if it seems like we have matching vibes. So that being said, I have one skincare item. And if there's anything that I feel like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't talk about this, I will put it down in a comment because sometimes it happens. But anyway, I have one skincare item. So I picked this up in the Sephora holiday savings event. This is the Paula's Choice 25% vitamin C and glutathione clinical serum. So I have two vitamin C's that I really love, one being the other Paula's Choice one, the C15 Super Booster, and the Pharmacy waterless vitamin C serum. Now, the thing about the Paula's Choice that I don't love is it literally is like out of a dropper liquid. And it's meant, you know, you can cocktail it in with something and put it on. It's just like, it runs through my fingers. I feel like I'm wasting it. It does work really nicely, but I was just like, if I can find something else. I love the texture of the Pharmacy. That's really why I like that one, because it just has that almost lotion-like serum consistency. So when I saw that Paula's Choice was coming out with one that has that similar consistency, I was really excited to try this. So I picked it up, and honestly, I am really liking it. I like the texture. It doesn't smell super strong. It really lays well underneath makeup. So I do really enjoy this one. Now, that being said, I think if, you know, it's just Pharmacy products are at a better price point. There was a point in time where Paula's Choice was like super good deal. I just feel like the prices have gone up a lot. So it would depend on the sale. Like once I run out of this, I do actually have the, that was one of the things that I got. I did get a Pharmacy vitamin C serum, so I will be good to go. But when that one is gone, because I probably use one every 4 to 6 months. So once that's gone, what I will do is I will just get whichever one I can get on a better deal. That's honestly what I will probably do because I like both of them. I like the texture of them, but I did want to give you an update. I do really enjoy this one. So this is the one that's being put into my favorites. All right, that's one product. We're gonna have to do this a little bit faster here. So I was going through and I was looking, we're gonna go into some Complexion now, and I was looking and I was like, did I even try? Oh, and by the way, I'm not going to be putting anything in that I got in the last month. I just feel, at least I don't think I am. If I am, I like fell dead in love with it, but I'm not going to be putting anything that I got in the last month just because I feel like for it to be a true favorite, I need to use it for a while. So that being said, I don't think I tried a lot of foundation this year. And part of that is because I'm trying to use up what I have. I pulled out my Haus Triclone and my Nars Light Reflecting, and I was like, you know what? Those are the two products that I talked about last year. So still a fave. The other product I'm gonna give a special mention to is the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Serum Tint, but I literally just got that like 3 weeks ago. It's not fair to put that in here, but I am really loving it. So I will have all those linked down below. But that being said, the one product that I did try this year that I really fell in love with, and I love the price point of it too, is the Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator. Now I actually tried this in January. I did a like budget beauty try on. This is a really nice product. The only downfall is that it doesn't have a lot of shades. I think it has like somewhere between 8 and 10 shades, and that's just not enough. Even for a tinted product, especially since this really does have quite a bit of coverage. Now this says that it's a tinted hydrator. I would say it's a tint with some hydration. You know, like a lot of times when we think of tinted hydrators, we're like, oh, it's a moisturizer with a little bit of color. This has a lot. This has a lot of coverage to it, but it's such a great price. I wear the light medium shade and it has a beautiful satin finish. I've used it on my channel quite a bit, but if you do want to see my initial try on of this, I will have that video linked down below. So this is a great one if you can find a shade that works for you. All right, I am sure that no one is surprised that the Haus Labs Triclone Concealer is going to be my pick as far as concealers go. I just love it. I think it's amazing, and it's what I'm wearing today, by the way. Today I'm wearing the shade 10 Light Golden, and I also have 13 Light Neutral. This is the one that I've used the most. I just picked this one up with that silly 20% off coupon that Sephora sends out almost immediately after the Friends and Family or the holiday savings event or whichever event it is. So I picked this one up because I wanted something a little more light and honestly something that would work a bit more for an olive complexion. So I just love it. It's hydrating. It has a nice like medium coverage. I can't even really say if you can build it up to full because I just don't wear that much concealer, but it just feels fresh and it looks great under the eye, and I just love it. I obviously loved it enough to warrant getting 2 shades, so that should tell you something. And by the way, if there is a category, if you will, that I don't feel like I have like a new favorite of the year, I'm just gonna skip it. I'm not pulling out things just to have something for every category. But we all know the one category I am absolutely gonna have to talk about is blushes, right? We know. I'm not gonna stick on it for too long because you probably know the 2 that I'm gonna talk about. The first one is the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Flush Balms. So I started out with the shade Prima Donna. This shade is absolutely beautiful. I now have, well, I bought 4 and I just got one as a gift for Christmas, so I'm very excited to now have the 5 shades that I will probably use all the time. I think that these are just so beautiful. Now, the one thing about these blushes is I know that everybody sort of gets a little like scared by how pigmented these are. I love that fact because it means that just about anyone is going to be able to wear these. They're pigmented enough for the deepest of skin, but if you use a light hand and a fairly like wispy brush, you're able to get a soft wash of color. I know I keep mentioning like other videos. I'm not trying to like pitch videos to you, but if you do want to see these in action and you haven't before, I'm going to have anything that goes with these videos linked down below. But just recently I did a makeup play date where I used this shade. This is the deepest, brightest shade that they make, and I got a very like light wash of color, and so I just wanted to show how versatile these products are. I love the finish. You know, I love a good glowy cheek moment, but there is something to be said about just a beautiful satin, healthy skin finish. Now, speaking of glowy, y'all can just type it in the comments right now what my other blush fave of the year is going to be. I'll wait. Okay, of course it's the RMS blushes. So the RMS Redimension Hydra Blushes. Listen, y'all. Now, the one that started it all is Maiden's Blush. Look at her. This is just absolutely beautiful. If you haven't seen this, you're probably living under a rock. I'm not gonna lie, but this beautiful, like toasty, mauvey cinnamon shade is absolutely stunning. It's absolutely stunning. Stunning. So once I tried this, I was like, I need more. And while I don't consider myself to have a collector's mentality, I do consider myself someone who loves an amazing blush formula, and this is that for me, so I do have every single shade. Yeah, I'm actually wearing Crystal Slipper, which is one of the newer lighter shades, almost as like a blush topper, a finishing powder on my cheeks today. Love it so much. So no regrets. I do think that there are a couple shades. I was actually just talking to someone on Instagram. I feel like French Rosé and the new Bermuda Rose shade, You don't necessarily need both of those. They're fairly similar. I mean, one is warmer and deeper, but they're close enough that I don't think you need both of those. I mean, let's face it, it's blush. You don't need any of it, but it does make us very happy. It definitely makes me very happy, so I don't have any regrets. I do absolutely love these. RMS is a brand that's been around for a very long time, and I think at first it was something that was only known by makeup artists, but they have really sort of like stepped up their game in the last 2 years, I would say, and brought forth some things that I think that the average makeup consumer would really enjoy. So I've really been enjoying the brand, have been lucky enough to be sent some PR from the brand, and it's just been really great getting to try a few of their new things. By the way, if anything that I receive was sent in PR, I will make a note of that as we go through here. Okay, I am gonna mention one more cream blush. It's one that I haven't been reaching for a lot recently, but I think it's just because I have so many darn blushes. I do wanna mention the Sydney Grace cream blushes. These were absolutely beautiful, and we were able to pick them up in the Christmas and July sale. I think you were able to get some individually, but I know that they came in the mystery bags. Or did you only get them in the mystery bags? Honestly, I do not remember anymore, but I loved pretty much every single shade that came in my mystery bag, and I think that the formula is absolutely beautiful. If you prefer that more like thin cream formula, I think you're really gonna like that one. The Yummy Skin Balm it's not as loose, you know what I mean? It doesn't have quite as much wetness to it. So this is a nice product, especially if you have like an oily skin type. This is a great one. I do think that while these are dry skin friendly, these are just like even more luscious on dry skin. Now you might be surprised that I'm basically gonna talk about these here. Okay, the Phytosurgeon Skin Spark Cream Blushes are very beautiful as well, but because I've only had them for so long, I'm loving them already. I'm loving them already, but here I'm just like, ooh, I can't put them in my tippy top faves, but they are gorgeous. The Phytosurgeon's product that I am gonna talk about though, because this really is the bronzer that really just wowed me this year, and I have had it for the same amount of time as the blushes, but I had to pull this one out. This, of course, is the Spectral Sunlight Cream Bronzer. I got the shade Golden Warmth. This is shade 3. I definitely could see picking up another shade, the rosier shade. I also could probably go a little bit darker. So if I ever use this one up, I think I would get the slightly darker shade. We'll see. I don't know. I do like the ability to be able to like build this up. There's just something about how like blendable on the skin this is, how it just like really just sinks in. There's just something, it just like marries well with other complexion products. It's absolutely gorgeous. I really love this, and it's the one that I've been reaching for a lot recently, so love that one. So I did want to mention that one. But the blushes are really nice too. I just can't mention I love a cream blush. I love a cream blush, and I just can't mention them all here, but I basically did. Okay, so let's talk about, I'm trying to like go in somewhat of a normal order here. All right, let's talk about lips. So I have 2 products, and both of these I've talked about quite a bit. I mentioned my love for the recent products from RMS, and the new Legendary Serum lipsticks are no exception. I absolutely love them. I was sent a few shades in PR, but I actually purchased the first one myself, and then randomly they just happened to send me a few shades. So I did grab one shade. I'm kind of bummed because Angela is the one that I wanted to talk to you about most, just because I think that it is an absolutely stunning shade, especially for this time of year, and it's the one that I find most staining on the lips as well. I've talked about it a lot on my Instagram. I'll try to find a picture and I'll put it here for you. But the one that I found, I think both of the others are at work, but the one that I found is the shade Audrey, and I'll give you a swatch of this one. This is like a very beautiful shade. It's sort of a red, I don't know, it's almost like a neutralized poppy shade. Yeah, that's gonna be what I go with. It's got enough brown to it. It's like a terracotta, honestly. Ooh, it kind of would go really well. Oh, I might have to try it with Jubilee, which is probably my favorite shade of the Yummy Skin Flush Balms, by the way. Good combo. I might have to try that. So anyway, back to the lipsticks. So this formula is so unique in the fact that it is probably the thinnest formula I've felt for how much pigment you get in this product. I think a lot of times the formulas that have the most pigment are going to be a little bit thicker, or that like crusty, dusty, like liquid lipstick that's sort of like paint. But this is hydrating on the lips. It's not like juicy lip product, but it's not drying. And I love the fact that this does give a bit of staining, especially in the deeper or like really bright shades. Absolutely beautiful. I have 3 shades at this point. I have Linda, Angela, and Audrey, this one. I just really enjoy these. I thought about picking up more, but the thing is like, I love the shades that I have, and I have so many lipsticks that I mean, at this point, I have just about every shade I could possibly need. It's the formula and the texture of this product that I think is so unique. So if you are looking for a new lipstick that really has a beautiful wear, I mean, even as it wears off a bit, it wears off beautifully, and you do get that little bit of stain underneath. So I absolutely love these. And I've noticed that RMS has been doing occasional sales on their site recently. I do also have a referral link, which I will leave you down below. I think it gets you 15 off of 50 or 15 off of 60. So that is my one lipstick pick that I just had to talk to you about. Now, y'all know I'm going to talk about the City Lips lip glosses. Let's be honest. Let's pull a couple out. I was just talking about these in my live last night. So my number one is the Clear City Lips from City Beauty. Honestly, this has just been something that I need to have on me at all times. At all times. I've gone through almost a full tube, and that is saying a lot. And this one is well on its way as well. We're like a fourth of the way through. So I really love the clear. I do also love, I would say that my favorites are probably the like shimmer formula. It's not like overly glittery, but it does give some beautiful luminosity. I think my favorite shade is Plum Springs. They do also make a cream if you are not into shimmer. This has very strong pigment, so just be aware of that. But I just love these. I find, especially the clear, this literally does make my lips look so much juicier, so much fuller. I put this on almost every single morning as like one of the first steps as I'm doing my makeup, just to hydrate my lips, help them look juicier, fuller, hydrated. And then if I choose to go over with something else, I just have that really full, beautiful lip underneath. Love these. I will not go without these. So these, by the way, were sent in PR. They were sent in PR, but I have since made 2 purchases. So you know that I love something once I spend my own money on it. And plus I gave these away as gifts this holiday, which is probably even more of a sign that I love something. And by the way, I do have a discount code that will save you 15%. So I will have that listed down below along with my affiliate link. All right, let's get into some eye makeup, shall we? So I was thinking palettes. I was like, okay, what palettes did I get this year? What palettes have I loved this year? And this is the one that I immediately knew was gonna go in. I don't know when this palette came out. I don't know when, because I got it quite a while after it came out. It was a gift from a wonderful subscriber and makeup loving friend. This is the Nearly Natural palette from Glaminatrix. I did a video using this. Looking at this, I don't know why I didn't pick this up myself. I must have been having a strong moment of beauty budgeting, because looking at this with its mauvey, rose gold, and like greeny shades in here, this is my color story dream. And so when this was sent to me, I was like, oh my gosh, it is just so pretty. And the finishes in here, there's just something so lovely about these. I don't think that there's anything necessarily overly unique, but it is so high quality, and both the shimmers and the mattes in this perform really well. And I find with a lot of brands that usually I end up loving one more than the other. Especially brands that do palettes. I'm like, oh, okay, love these mattes, but I wish the shimmers had more shim. Or it's like, the shimmers in here are amazing, but the mattes are a pain in the butt to work with. Like, tell me, is this just me? I find this most of the time with brands that do palettes. So I was very happy with this palette, and I knew right away. I was like, this one has to go in here. So I'm probably gonna be keeping my eye out for more Glaminatrix palettes in the future. I cannot lie. Now the other palette I absolutely had to mention, because when I first got this and I was using it, gorgeous, just absolutely gorgeous. This is another one that the mattes are great and the shimmers are great in, and this is the Nomad Cosmetics Okavango Safari palette. I love this. I've managed to keep it fairly clean. But it's the color story inside that just makes me so happy. I mean, you have some warm bronzy shades, you have some greens, you know that I love those. I will be honest, I don't know if I've ever used the Migrating Zebra shade, this like silvery shade. This is not one that I reach for very often, but every other shade I have dipped into and really enjoyed it. So I absolutely love this. I think that Nomad, I will be honest, Nomad is a brand that I feel like their shimmers at times have been hit or miss. Or it's like, oh, there just aren't enough shimmers in the palette. But I have found that their last few palettes have been beautiful quality. I was going to put the Ghost Town USA palette in here, but I was like, out of the two, it's gonna be this one, just because this is a color story that I would normally reach for more. However, Ghost Town USA is the palette that made me wear more cool tones this year. So I don't know, maybe I should have put that one in here as well. I do also have a code with Nomad. It is Keep Beauty Real if you would like to save some money. And this one was sent in PR as well, along with Ghost Town USA. All right, now let's talk single shadows, because I feel like as far as my own beauty budget, single shadows is where that went this year as far as like eyeshadow goes. I really didn't buy a lot of eyeshadow palettes, but I did buy some single shadows. So I thought it would be fun to share with you a few of the singles that were my favorites this year. I talked about this one in a recent video in my BYOP Reflections palette. So this, I have to say, is my #1 favorite of the year. This is the shade Ferric. If you do want to see a look with this one, I did you'll see a short here on YouTube, or I put it up as a reel on Instagram. This is the shade that I chose to wear on Christmas Day. And this is, I mean, this is me in an eyeshadow. Like really, it's rose gold. It shifts to green. Look at that. It's absolutely freaking beautiful. It's smooth yet sparkly. It's stunning. I love it. I love it so much. The other shades that I wanted to talk about are some of the Mystic Cove shades from Divina Cosmetics. Divina has really done some bangers this year, but I was like, you know what? I have to think back to the shades that made me go, whoa, when I swatched them. Now, I'm not going to take these out, but I'll swatch them for you because I have them in the Mystic Cove palette. So this first one is Thusa, and this, I mean, this shade, it's like, it is so bright. It's like highlighter, fairy, plugged in. And you know what? I have not worn this one enough. I think that this time of year, like winter, is going to be a beautiful time to wear this. There is something, okay, when I was a little kid and you'd get something that had that like iridescent, slightly holographic, like plastic wrap over it. Please tell me that somebody knows what I'm talking about. It's this. It's that like, that's not real. That's got to be fake. This is magic unicorn, fairy, My Little Pony, all of my 80s child dreams. I just love this so much. So I have to wear this one more. I mean, even just talking about it now, it's making me so happy. I swatched it the night that the CEO of Divina, Deandra, was on my Live Miss, and I was like, oh my God. I swatched it to see if she could guess the shade. And I was like, dang, I have not worn that one enough. So now seeing this, maybe this is gonna have to be what I wear tomorrow. This is one that I think is also just as beautiful. The thing about a few of these Mystic Cove shades is they're so bright and electric and so shifty. So this is Palemon. This is the one that's down here. I probably have my light up way too much for you to see the majesty of these shades, just because that center light kind of like needs to not be quite so bright. There you go. So you can see, I mean, it's like rainbow, periwinkle purple, gold, green. I see all the things. If you're not in the light, it has almost like a mauvey purple undertone. It's all the shades and it's amazing. The other one that I want to swatch is Echidna. I love a good green to pink moment. Now I do have to say that this one especially on its own is just, it has a little bit of that flake, but you can, once you get it on the eye and you smooth it in, it's absolutely fine. So a damp brush goes a long way. So this one is just absolutely beautiful. And it's so bright. It's so bright and electric. And I think that that is what makes this one kind of unique. I have quite a few green to pinks because I'm always looking for that perfect green to pink, but this has a gold flash to it that I think makes it really unique. It wasn't anything like the other ones that I had in my collection. I thought it was going to be, and it wasn't. So the Mystic Cove, absolutely beautiful. This was so fun. Now you probably know that the brand came out with their very first ever exclusive all-together eyeshadow palette, like one where you can't get the shades individually. The Fantasia palette is absolutely beautiful. It just came out on Black Friday though. It just came out and I just haven't had enough time to use it yet to like really be like, yeah, this is it for me. So I love a few of the shades in there, but I just haven't played with it enough to like have it in my top faves. I'm just gonna go right now into the other Divina product that is in my top faves though, and that is the Prelusion Eye Base. I have it on today. I just absolutely love it. I think it gives you a beautiful smooth base to start with. Shadows blend onto it beautifully. It doesn't make anything super like skippy. You know, sometimes the ones with the extra tack, like the Urban Decay Primer Potion, sometimes that can make things kind of like, and the value on this is amazing. It's $10 at full price. Obviously, Divina has sales occasionally, so you can get it at probably like $6 to $8. It's beautiful, and there's a lot in here, so great value. I've really been enjoying that one, and I have been using this enough to be able to put it in my favorites because I've been using it almost every day. Okay, another product you probably knew I was going to be talking about, the About Face Matte Eye Paints. These are by no means new this year, but I have been using them a lot. So I really enjoy both the mattes and the fractals. So the fractal is newer to me. I'm just gonna swatch out a couple of these mattes. The fractals are newer to me, but I have had quite a bit of time to be able to play with these. I'm running out of swatching room. So I am swatching for you this beautiful green, which is Smoke Signal. That doesn't really make much sense. It's funny because I remember the first two shades I got were Smoke Signal and Hidden Garden. And Smoke Signal is a green and Hidden Garden is a gray. And I feel like they should have been switched. This other shade is It's a Blitz. So these two mattes, the thing about these awkward swatches, the thing about these is that they are so easy to blend. They're very user-friendly. You know, they really blend out and look like a powder shadow, like a really beautiful saturated powder shadow on my eyes. I have drier eyes, so I was a little worried, are they gonna look crispity crunchy? Are they gonna be kind of tacky? You know, I love the color fix, but those you have to blend out pretty fast. These have a little bit more blend time, so you can play with them for a little bit longer. Now, the fractals, here I have Fracture. I did pick up a couple more shades in the Ulta Black Friday sale. So the thing about these is, again, they're very easy to use. Oh, I'm gonna put it, this is gonna be so awkward. I'm gonna put it here between my knuckles. Now, some of these have such a beautiful dimensional shimmer. Now, Fractal is, I would say, a rosy bronze, and then it has a bronze, like the base of it is a rosy bronze, and then it has a bronze sheen with teeny tiny little copper and gold sparkle. Oh, it's right there. It's again, okay, hello, welcome to my awkward swatches, but it is just absolutely beautiful. It has almost like a creamy whipped texture. You're probably not even gonna be able to see it on here. Probably not. What am I doing? But it's not quite as wet liquidy or as, yeah, wet liquidy as, like, let's say the Sydney Grace cream shadows, which you know that I love. So I feel like this has a little bit different feel going onto the eye. I also feel like these are a little bit easier you can use a little bit more of them. The Sydney Grace, you know, I think people just tend to put on a little too much at first because they are so spreadable, and like a little goes such a long way that I think sometimes people just get like a little overwhelmed. These, you know, you can dab on a little more. I've had so much fun with these, and you know, Ulta has sales all the time. Like, it's usually like 20, 30, and then of course, you know, around mega sale time, it's like 40 to 50% off. So I definitely recommend picking up some of these if you haven't tried them yet. All right, mascara. Now, for the most part, this has been a year of me trying to use up my mascara hoard, so I've been trying not to purchase too many new mascaras. I found the Tower 28 last year. I still absolutely love that one, the Make Waves mascara. Now this year, at the beginning of the year, I did try the L'Oreal Telescopic Lift mascara. I actually purchased it before Mascara Gate, and I do like that one, but that really is a more like lifting, stretching mascara. The thing that I have really been hoping to find is something that I love as much as the Bite Beauty Upswing mascara. Haven't found it yet, but I probably am not going to be buying any new mascaras until I use more of what I have. I literally have, I don't even want to say it, I probably have 20 mascaras down there. So we're going to use what we have, and I've gotten some samples as we do, so I just really need to use what I have. Now, that being said, if you found a mascara that you love down below, especially if you tried and loved the Bite Beauty Upswing, let me know down below. Not that I'm going to be buying it, because I'm really trying not to buy mascara. Okay, so a couple more categories. I want to talk about one hair care item that I found to be revolutionary this year, and really not just for me, but for my clients. As a professional hairdresser, you know, I'm using products on a lot of heads of hair, and the Avapui Wild Ginger Hydra Soft Glossing Treatment has been a game changer. A, it's super quick. You literally leave this on for like 15 seconds in the shower. B, it's incredibly lightweight. I think that a lot of people who need moisture are afraid to weigh their hair down, and I have found that my fine-haired clients love this just as much. It gives a beautiful gloss to the hair. It helps make the hair feel like silkier, smoother, gives that great shine and hydration, but it's not weighing your hair down. So you can use this a couple times a week in the shower, depending on how often you wash. If you're like me and you wash it about every 7 or 8 days, maybe you'll use it a couple times a month. But if you're a frequent flyer with that shampoo, well, first of all, I recommend not doing that. But if you are, you could use this a couple times a week. All right, I did just have to put that one in here. I was like, I got to put in one hair care item, and that is the one that has just been, again, a unique product this year, and I've used it a lot on my guests and myself. Okay. If you're not new to my channel, you will know that I bought a lot of fragrance this year. I bought a lot of fragrance, and I wanted to share with you my tippy top faves and honestly the ones that I found to be very unique. Now, I think that I've talked about most of these pretty in depth, but if you've missed my fragrance videos and you want a little download on these, I'm going to go through the notes of these really quickly. So this is from a duping brand that I found just randomly through some video here on YouTube. And I've tried out a lot of samples from the brand, and I have now actually bought 3 fragrances. But this is the one that started it all. So this is from Juliana's Perfume, and this is the scent Aurora. And this is meant to be a Baccarat Rouge 540 dupe. When I did my little fragrance haul, I did like a little wear test, sniff test next to the original Baccarat Rouge, because Jennifer from Alfeisty, she sent me a sample of the original, and I was like, okay, I got to do a side-by-side of these. So I have Aurora right now on this side, and I have Baccarat Rouge 540 over here. So here's the thing that I found. I became part of the Juliana's Perfume Facebook group, and I've kind of read the thing about especially a small fragrance brand is they're making small batches of things like this. So there is this sort of thought behind allowing a fragrance to macerate for a while before it is at its peak. And what they say is that because a lot of the large brands are making droves of a product at a time, it's essentially macerating in the warehouse before it goes out. But when you're doing small batch fragrance, they make it and they ship it out almost directly. So everybody's like, you have to let it sit. You have to let it sit. And people were like, you have to let it sit for a month or more. I was like, I have to buy a fragrance and then let it sit for a month before I use it. So I didn't do that. I wanted to try it out right away. Plus, at first I didn't know until I got into that Facebook group. But I liked the smell of this right off the bat. It is not a super close dupe to Baccarat Rouge 540, at least at first it wasn't. But let me tell you, that maceration thing is real. It is actually real. This fragrance has gotten so much more complex and deep and stronger. So this scent is just so lovely. I will say, if you are someone who loves Baccarat Rouge 540 and you want something that is way less expensive and you want to know my thoughts on this, the thing that I think is missing from this compared to Baccarat Rouge is a bit of that peppery note. It's got that spicy, a little peppery note. You don't get that out of this, but you get the other parts of the fragrance. So that's the one thing that I will say. However, the Aurora at full price is $59, and the brand does do discounts occasionally, so you can usually get these for 15% off or more. And when I bought this, I did decide to go ahead and purchase some samples, so I've been trying those samples out over time and sort of making notes for myself, and then obviously letting them sit for a while and trying them. So on Black Friday, I did actually pick up 2 more fragrances. Yes, I did. I talked about doing a fragrance haul video. Let me know if you'd like to see that. But anyway, so this is definitely one of my favorites. The notes. Shall I give you the notes? I haven't done that yet. Wow. So the top notes are violet, jasmine, and saffron. The heart notes are praline, ambergris, and the base notes are amber, vanilla, and oak moss. So this is a very ambery, vanilla-y, slightly spicy, delicious scent. And I've noticed recently that the last 2 times that I have sprayed this, once was before going to bed, because I feel like I can totally spray on a $60 fragrance before going to bed. I don't know that I would use the original Baccarat Rouge 540, because isn't that $300 or something like that? More. At any rate, I don't know that I'd use that as a bedtime fragrance. $60 I can totally do. That's Victoria's Secret prices right there. But anyway, I sprayed it on and he's like, oh, that smells really good. It is pretty strong at first. So I feel like for me, this is a winter only fragrance. And this is one that if I am going to wear it to work, I'm going to spray it on almost right away when I get up so that it has time to meld with my skin for a bit before I go to work. Okay, so the next 3 fragrances I was introduced to through my olfactive subscription. So I decided to treat myself to that fragrance subscription. I think it was actually either at the end of 2022 or at the beginning of 2023. Dangerous. It was very dangerous because I was introduced to a lot of different fragrance houses that I'd never heard of, some really unique scents. One of these brands I had heard of, but the world of fragrance was opened up to me. Oh, 4. I have 4 more fragrances. Seriously, this is probably part of the reason why I canceled that subscription. It was very fun, but I was like, okay, we need to slow our roll. We're getting a lot of samples and we're also buying a lot of fragrance. So I'm going to talk to you about 4 fragrances that I picked up. And the thing about every single one of these is that they are very unique to what I have. And I just went down a rabbit hole. What can I say? So this first one, I think this might have actually been the first one of the year. The next one might actually have been the first one of the year, but this is from a brand that I had smelled before, that I had tried before, and this is Imaginary Authors. This is In Love with Everything, and oh my gosh, I just scratched the cap again. Darn it. Let me tell you, Imaginary Authors really needs to do better. They need to do better with their caps. Maybe it's supposed to help the fragrance, but their caps are like Spanx. So this fragrance is so yummy, and this one has notes of raspberry, citrus pulp, coconut, palm sugar, sandalwood, tropical punch. It is fruity and creamy, sweet, but not cotton candy sweet. Like, I don't know, this one is just so much fun. And I definitely think of this as a spring and early summer fragrance. I think because it is on the sweeter side, I don't know that I would wear it in the dead of summer, but it's not so sweet that I couldn't. I do also think that this would be a good one in the depths of winter. If I'm very depressed, this will be a really nice one. It's just so fun. Imaginary Authors has some great scents. I bought 3 full-size bottles of Imaginary Authors this year. Okay, gosh, I should really look and see what I got this year. Anyway, the next one that I got, I have to say, I think this is probably my favorite. I think this is probably my favorite that I got this year. Again, I found this fragrance house through Olfactive. This is the Fragrance House 4160 Tuesdays. I actually introduced my friend Kara to this brand, and I know that she picked up at least 1 full size, but I think a couple full size. And this fragrance is Fruits of the Tree of Knowledge. There is something about this. There is something about this that I think is the most unique in my collection. And I know that I have either sent samples or friends that I have gotten samples, and I don't know that anyone has as much of a connection with it as I do, but gosh, it's awesome. Let me get the notes. Okay, so reading off of the Olfactive site, because I think in the United States, I think that Olfactive is the only place you can get this. You might be able to get it through another brand, but otherwise they are a UK-based brand. So the notes include cherry jam, raspberry, lemon, orange, peach, it says reach, but I think they mean peach, watermelon, flowers, and a woody sandal accord. So the thing is they say cherry jam, but there is no cherry note in this, and I don't get cherry at all. I definitely get like a jammy feel, but it is more of that raspberry scent. It's it's more of like a fresh, tart raspberry. And I think it's because of the citrus that's in here. Now, as I'd mentioned, raspberry is also a note in Love with Everything. So raspberry must have been a thing for me this year. And let me tell you, of all the berries, raspberry is not the one that I'm going to choose to eat. But I mean, I will eat raspberries. It's just not going to be my tippy top. Not that you care. Anyway, this one is more sweet. This one is more tart. There is just something about this. This makes me happy every single time I wear it. It doesn't last that long. I wish it lasted longer, but I love it. Now, I have a lot of fragrance. And I did have a full sample of this one. I used that up, and I have actually gone through a decent bit of this. I was sort of panicking. I see that it is still on the Olfactive website, but I think I was looking on the 4160 Tuesdays website and I didn't see it. And again, I think that's another like smaller batch brand. So maybe it was just a batch that they didn't have in stock at time, but I totally panic bought this. I was like, I need this right now. If I run out of this and it's still available, I will 100% be buying it again. So love that. I have tried some others from the brand. They are very unique and lovely. They have some great gourmands and some really interesting blends. There just hasn't been anything that I'm like, yes, I need that one. But I know that my friend Kara has tried a couple, and what is the one that she really likes? Summer Vacation. What I did on holiday, something like that. Anyway, let's talk about another one that I think is so unique from a fragrance house I had never heard of. This is Christelle Jacquemin, Enlightenment. Now, as I'm pulling this up on the Olfactive site, let me just tell you that the descriptors on the Olfactive site and on the cards that you get in your subscription, Very dangerous. They just make everything sound like so enticing. So they say, did you ever smell snow or pure ice rippling off a glacier? That hard to describe purity and freshness that smells translucent and metallic at the same time? I mean, that just sounds like something I needed to try, right? I mean, I did try it because it was in my subscription. Literally, this just feels like clean, cold air, but not in like a Vicks Vapor Rub way. I think that sometimes when I think of like cold air, crisp air, that's like that like menthol-y thing. That's not what you get here. So they say that the notes include white sage, bay St. Thomas, elemi, Szechuan pepper, orris, styrax, starch needles, black spruce needles, and sea fennel. This just smells so clean, so good. It's very light. It just is so wonderful. Again, this is one that I actually kind of wish that I had pulled out this fall. See, this is why I gotta like simmer down on the fragrance for a while, because this little short squatty bottle got set behind some of my others and I just didn't see it. And I am gonna pull it out this winter, but I think it would have done a little bit better in the fall when it's not quite so cold. So I'm gonna have to use this one this season. It is absolutely delicious and definitely a favorite for me. All right, we're going down a whole other path here. We just had light, crisp, airy. We're gonna go into sweet, sexy, musky, yummy. Okay. So Montagna Parfums. So this is the scent Arabian Orient. Now when I got this scent in my subscription box, I'd never heard of this fragrance house. I just saw this and I was like, oh, this sounds really yummy, and it smells absolutely delicious. Like I said, sexy, rich, deep. So they say that the top notes are lemon, geranium, cardamom, and saffron. So you kind of get that like spicy, yeah, you get the spices at the beginning. And then the middle notes are caramel, cedarwood, patchouli, and vetiver. Now, if you know me, I'm not huge into patchouli, but if it's balanced in a scent, I think it just does give that like rich, cozy vibe, sort of like smooths everything out. The base notes are musk, labdanum, raspberry, and benzoin. So this is where you get that musky, like amber resin, just that like ancient, secret, mysterious, sexy vibe. It is so, so good. And it sounds super complex, right? So I did not realize this is $40 at full price. $40. $40. I love this so much. I think that this actually lasts on my skin fairly well, especially for a $40 fragrance. This is just, it's an incredible scent. I think it is unique to me. Now, I did not realize that Montagna is actually a dupe brand. This is actually one of their unique fragrances, so it's not actually duping any other scents, but they have a ton of dupes on their website. I definitely would like to pick up one or two at some point to try. Well, I have to say, I did actually pick up one of the other fragrances. I got Pineapple Musk, which I think is a Creed dupe. I got it thinking it might be similar to another sample that I had tried that Olfactive doesn't actually carry the brand anymore. It wasn't the same, but it does smell nice. It's just a little more masculine than I wanted. And I ended up putting it into the gift ball for Christmas. So that being said, I will see what the recipient thinks of that over time, but this is a scent that I absolutely love. And for $40, you can't beat it, especially because Olfactive does do like 20 or 25% off sales a couple times a year. You just can't beat it. I mean, that's ridiculous. You can't even buy like a drugstore fragrance for like $30, you know, if you think you're getting 25% off. At any rate, I absolutely love it. So now that I have shared with you all of the things that I absolutely loved, at least most of them, all the ones that just came to mind, I want to talk about some of the things that I really didn't love. And I am only pulling in the things that I was just like, absolute eye roll, no thank you. The things that it's like, this is trash, I won't use it. Well, actually, there was one that I hate panned. We're going to get into that. Okay, so I'm not going to spend too much time on these famous last words because I probably should have put these somewhere in the middle so that we could end on a positive note, but I do want to get into the things that I didn't love. So the first one on here, this is one that I knew I was going to put on here right away, and I think a lot of people were disappointed in this. Okay, as a whole, y'all, the Adept Mystery Box. I mean, it was like, first of all, it was advertised as like, I think they did say that you were going to get a palette, but they were like, brand new items, blah, blah, blah. And it made it sound like you were going to get to try several new launches that were coming out from the brand. And you got like, what, 10 liquid liners and a shadow palette. 10. Who is going to use 10 liquid liners? Now, I will say, I actually like the liners, but I don't need, I mean, they had some pretty like multi-chrome, duochrome ones. Hooded eyes, y'all. I have hooded eyes. And I also have 42-year-old eyelids that are starting to like make their way south. So it's probably not that often that I'm gonna do like a mega wing, because you gotta like really work at that. They're pretty. I did keep a couple of the shades, but I've like given away a lot of them. And the palette I did not like. The palette I did not like. The mattes were fussy, hard to work with. The shadows, half of them were that like squishy formula that creases immediately on my eyes, and the other ones were just like, meh. Very disappointed. So disappointed. I don't think there was anyone out there that was excited about that mystery box. That was a fail. And unfortunately, that was my very first and only Adept makeup purchase. I do have one of their like fold over eyeshadow palettes, but that was my first makeup purchase. And honestly, I have not had any desire to try anything else from the brand since. I was just like, you took my money, I feel scammed, and let's face it, there are a ton of other makeup brands out there, and I just don't see myself purchasing anything from them in the future. What can I say? Okay, the other thing, the Kiehl's Avocado Eye Cream. Now listen, I love Kiehl's. I have several products that have been in my favorites time and time and time again. This eye cream, now the thing is like Jeremy got it first, and I must have gotten a sample of it in something, and I was like, I just don't bother with eye cream. And so I gave him the sample because he gets very dry around his eyes. I would say he's actually normal to combo most of the time, but in the winter he just gets really dry eyelids. And I was like, baby, here, use this. And he really enjoyed it. He's like, oh, I really like that. And at one point, I think it was like post-holiday, they had the little duo of the two eye creams on mega sale, I think at Macy's or somewhere like that. So I picked it up. I was like, hey, one for you, one for me. Now, before I actually got into my jar, I was watching one of my friend Kara's videos, and she has a lot of Kiehl's favorites as well. And there's an eye cream from Kiehl's that she really liked, but she tried the avocado one and she was like, I just don't get this. It doesn't lay nice. It seems to kind of separate. I don't know what's going on. And I was like, okay, something's up here. Then when I opened my jar, first of all, it seemed like a completely different consistency than what I remember Jeremy's first jar. So I don't know if they've changed the formula. I don't know what the heck happened. When I went to use mine, the consistency, it was like not completely homogeneous, you know? So it was like I had to like shake it up really well. And Kara's right. It sort of like split. It sort of like separated on the skin, and it didn't lay well under anything. And I was like, this is a big no. This is a big no. And so at first I was like, you know what? I was getting it for daytime, but I started using it at night, and the texture, it was just a no. It was a no, no, no. And that makes me so sad. So I think I even asked Jeremy, I was like, are you going to want this? And he was like, no, probably not. And so I think I ended up just throwing it away because I was like, I don't want to give this to anyone and be like, this is great. You know, no, it was just a thing. So that was a big bummer. Another one, and I actually just finished this. I'm going to try not to rage on about it too much in my empties video, but the Clinique Take the Day Off Balm. This is like the Clinique take all my money for nothing balm. Like, this balm did not work for me. And I think I was just watching my friend Natalia, and she was saying that she really likes that one. And I was like, I wish I had known that, because I would have sent it to you, because I had the big one. I got it 50% off in an Ulta 21 Days of Beauty sale, but it just doesn't do a lot for me. I don't know what it is. I will say it didn't sting my eyes. It didn't give me a lot of that like white, milky over the eye kind of thing, but it also just didn't do a lot. I had to use a lot of it. I felt like I had to work it, and it just really didn't like cut through mascara, things like that. So what I found myself doing, especially to try to get it to work, I was like grabbing it by like the tablespoonful, you know, just like slathering myself just to use it up. So I actually just used it up recently. It was victory for me. I know a lot of people like that one. I will just never purchase that again. That was one I actually had like in a note on my phone, fails of the year. So that was one. Okay, so we have to talk about a product that I am just scratching my head at from a brand that I really, really enjoy. And this is a product that you can't necessarily get anymore because it was in their mystery bags for the year. And of course, you probably know at this point that I'm talking about Sydney Grace. But can we just talk about the powder bronzers? I'm very, very confused. So I got one of the bronzers in one of my mystery bags, and I was just completely confused. I think I got the deep. Maybe this came in the purple deep bag. This is the bronzer shade in Buckeye. The thing about this especially when you think a deep mystery bag is going to people who probably have a deeper skin tone. Now, at first, this doesn't look like a bad product. It is at first glance, it's a little bit of a warmer bronzer, and I mean that in like almost having a bit of like a reddy undertone. The thing is when you start working this into the skin, which I would think with a bronzer, you're going to sit with it with a brush and buff it into your skin. And I am using a clean finger here. I don't even know if you're going to be able to see that, but can you see how that has now become almost like plummy with a silver shift to it? Like, I'm never going to use this on my face, so I'm just going to show you. I'm going to give you a really big swatch. I'm like, once you buff this into the skin, it gets sheeny and silver toned. And I was talking to someone who picked up the light bundle or the light bag, and the same thing happens with that one. And I'm like, who is testing these products? Maybe they just swatched it. I don't know, but I don't know why you would put a silvery pigment into a bronzer. Now, this could be a really beautiful one and done eyeshadow, but I am not going to ever use up 7 grams of eyeshadow. I maybe should use this as an eyeshadow once just to be able to use it, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to be decluttering this one. I'm pretty sure. I don't get it. Like, in fact, here where I've like rubbed it, can you see how that almost got like a dark purple? I don't know what's going on. I love Sydney Grace. I love the team from Sydney Grace. They have amazing customer service. I just sort of wonder if a lot of the team have very cool skin tone, or a lot of the people who are testing out this makeup, because I feel like a lot of their shades in eyeshadows and a lot of things, well, I'm saying a lot, are cool toned skin friendly and more fair to medium skin friendly. That being said, it's amazing that they're a brand that does light and deep in a lot of different things. So I give them absolute credit for that. But in a few of the things, like I found these powders in, some of the bronzers, it was like the tones were just kind of off. And so this was a miss for me. I will be honest. I definitely gave the team my feedback, kindly, right? When I was like, I think this was a miss. I don't know what this is. And it was just kind of like a head scratcher for me. So if you got this shade, let me know. Let me know if I'm wrong. I just can't imagine putting this on as a bronzer at all. Okay, is that it? I think that's it. Sydney Grace, I love you. I just, I can think of a product from just about every single brand, even the ones that I absolutely love, love, love with a capital L, like I do Sydney Grace. And there are just things that I'm like, that wasn't it. That wasn't your best shiny moment. And let's face it, I've had those moments too. All right, so I hope you enjoyed my thoughts. Let me know down below if you had any favorites or fails that you'd like to share with the community. I would really be curious to know what your outstanding products of the year were that really brought you joy or brought you frustration. Let's be honest, those are fun to hear too. All right, lovelies, thank you so much. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a like on your way out. And again, I will, if I can round up any videos on my favorites especially, I will have those listed down below in the description box. All right, I will see you really soon.